let's go ahead and get started. Juan said, I am Melissa Summerford. I'm a teacher success champion here at CAMI, and prior to that, I was in education for 16 years, taught elementary education and some instructional coaching. But so I absolutely love the classroom. I thought it was going to be there forever, and then things just happened. So here I am today with CAMI. It's a great place to be, and I absolutely love what I get to do. My daughter is still a teacher, so I still have a teacher in the family. And matter of fact, in the same district, I'm from Texas, so I'm from the Waller, Magnolia, Houston, Texas area. So I'm not too far from San Antonio. I mean, that's where we took all our spring break. So just to let you know where I'm coming from. I'm going to get you into this CAMI document. I'm going to show you how you can, when you are presenting to students, when you are sharing with other teachers, how you can share a CAMI document with others. So I'm going to demonstrate how to share that, and then we'll get you the link and get you into this document so we can start collaborating together. Okay, I'm going to go to this blank screen right here. And I'm going to go to the share button right here where it says share document. Okay. Once I'm in the share document, you're going to see that it looks familiar. It's a lot like Google Docs. So you can restrict it. It's going to come in restricted for you automatically, but I was playing around with that. So I already changed it. But you can go to restricted, your domain, anyone with the link. And I'm going to make you editors because I want you to come in and we're going to do some things together. So I'm going to allow you to do that. You can also handle the control features. Like you can share what you want your participants or students to have access. You can turn them all off or keep them on, or maybe just not let them use like the YouTube. Maybe you don't want any YouTube videos in there when students are working. I'm going to leave them all on because I want you to experience all of what CAMI has to offer. So I'm going to leave copy and paste, and I'm going to keep add pages off. When you do that, you want to hit OK because that's like your save. Then you can share it either two ways. Students can either scan your QR code or you can copy this link. I'm going to copy this link. I'm going to paste it in here just to show you how you can do it, but I'm also going to drop it in the chat. So let me put a text box and paste. So when you're ready to share that CAMI link, you just pop it on the screen, and it's not paste sensitive, meaning you could just type it just the way it is. I'm also going to drop it in the chat. All right, there we go. I've dropped it in the chat. Now you should be able to click on it. Go ahead and click on that because I want you to come in so I can show you what it looks like when we do have participants in the same CAMI document. I'll give you just a minute to do that. While you are coming in, we'll give you just a minute. Look, I can tell. If you look at the bottom here, I can tell that I have some friends in. I have 2 friends in. Let's see how many more I can get in, okay? Because it really works great when we have 11 participants, so I know I have 11 friends in here. Oh, wait, there he comes. There he comes. So I can see that so far there's 5 collaborators in this document. Oh, look, and it's going up. Now it's 7. Oh, that's awesome. Now we're going to be able to do some collaborating because we got some friends in here. All right. Okay, so do you see that? Like imagine when you're working with students and you see all your students that come in. So if you see little Timothy over there and you know he's got his computer and he's not in the document, you'll be able to see that. So I wanted you to know that. Okay, as we work through this document and we do some things together, we're going to come back to this, okay, because this is important. I want to talk about some features, but I want us in here, okay? Let me go ahead and just put this little down arrow. I know my friends are still coming in here. And let's talk about why you want to use CAMI. It keeps every student engaged. And you know why it does? Because CAMI is not only just a PDF. When you probably hear about CAMI, you probably, oh, it just does PDFs. It does more than that. You can create. We have this template library that I'm going to show you. Like you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You have some resources for you. If you do put in a PDF, you can bring it to life with the tools that we have. If I look on the side here and I want to give you some directions on what this is, I can go and I can use a voice comment right here. CAMI is a curriculum enhancement tool. You can use the resources that you already have and just bring them to life. left that right there, my students are going to be able to hear my directions that come in, like hear my teacher voice. And look, there's also, if you have students who have disabilities as far as hearing, they can generate the captions. There's this little box right there, and it will generate the captions so they can read it. So the accessibility feature is pretty amazing too. Now, if your teacher voice doesn't work, well, then you can do your teacher look. And this is what I mean. Right next to that is a video. Hey, students, this is what you're going to do. You're going to take out your Kami document and you're going to start telling me, proving your evidence as you complete the activities. And there you go. You got your video that is coming through. So if your teacher voice doesn't work, try your teacher face. Maybe that will. Hey, it's worth a try. And then also generate captions as well. So that will come. So if we go through, look at this particular document. This is a PDF document. You've got video, just like I talked about. You've got collaborators coming in. We'll look at how you can use the highlighting tool and the read aloud tool as well. So if I get to this next one right here, the annotations, let's have Kami read it for us. I'm going to go to the read aloud tool right here. I'm going to click.
Bring the paper and digital resources you're already using to life with.
Look at that. So you have that accessibility that is built in. It's not an extra extension. Your students don't have to leave Kami. It's all going to be within the space. Now, if students get to work and they're like, annotation, I don't even know what that means in the Summerford. Well, let's go to the dictionary. And you're going to have some help that's going to be pulled up. It's going to say what an annotation is and
Annotation.
the sound.
Annotation.
Then it's going to read it. And if you notice this is what it's going to be available. We are working on this. And matter of fact, like the Spanish has come out. Now, if you're wondering, does it translate it to Spanish? It won't translate the English into Spanish. You have to have the Spanish document loaded, and then it will read those words and pull up that information. Now, to make sure to get this, because if you're working on it, you're like, Melissa, I don't see that. You do have to go into your settings here. Where are my settings? Where my initials are, go into settings. When you go into settings, there's some beta features. These are all the new things coming out and you'll have access to. You'll have to turn that on for you to be able to try that. So remember, your document has to be in Spanish or whatever language it is coming in. It will read that and do the dictionary. So just know that. All right, so I talked about that and accessibility. Look at the accessibility. Students have access to multiple ways to show their thinking. It's just not one way. I mean, I don't know about y'all, but I remember back in my day, when I was in elementary, there was only one way to solve the standard algorithm, and it was just stacking. Like I had no beans, I had no math tools. And like today, we have all these accessibilities that students have access to show for them to show their different way of learning. Kami provides that. It has the markup, going to use the markup if they need to highlight some information, as they're going in. When I was an elementary teacher, I always had my students go back and find the evidence, highlight the important pieces when you are solving multi-step problems. These tools is what helped my students really comprehend because they had the tools right there provided for them. All right, so this is what we're going to do. All right, I don't know why my things came up, but I'm going to delete these. That's no problem. If you notice on the side, I'm like, why is this here? I don't need this right here right now, okay? So as a teacher, you can go in, and if you see something that's not there, just go and delete it, and I'll show you how we're going to put this back in, okay? All right, let's talk about installing the extension. Okay, you'll want to have the extension because it's an important piece of the Kami integration and how it works. Now, if you're wondering, well, I can get in and I don't need it, but do it and you'll miss out on some of these features. And these are the features that I'm talking about. Since you are in this presentation, anything you see highlighted in yellow when you move your mouse around, that is a link, okay? So just know that. So if you're like, how do I get this extension, Melissa? Well, you're going to click here. It's going to take you to the Chrome web store and you'll be able to download it. But this is where the extension is going to be. It's going to live in the extension bar here at the top. Now, the reason why you'll need it is because you'll be able to do several things, okay? I'm going to go into my drive right here, and I'm going to go in to my folder where I have activities, okay? All right, here's my activities button where I have all my things for my students. Let's go into language arts. Okay, now if you notice in here, I have things that are PDF, I have things that are slides, I have things that are Google Docs. Well, with having the Kami extension, I can go in, click on the three dots, and I'm going to be able to see annotate with Kami. So what I'm going to do, I don't have to change anything. Kami's going to do the magic for me. Look, annotate with Kami. Kami's going to do the magic, and you're going to see, well, you're going to see this on mine because I've opened these several times. Now, if I just needed to update it, I'm going to hit the top one. If I need it to be a new file, then I would convert to a new file. I'm just going to go into what I already have open because I've opened it a few times. For your first time, you're going to see the new file, and it's going to say convert file. Authorize. Sometimes it'll ask that. I guess it didn't sign in today, so that's why it's doing that. And that's okay. Just click the button. And here it goes. So this is an example of a book log. Like we shared it, we just shared it with as a Google Doc. But students can delete things. They can go through and they can take those off. When I bring it into Kami, that stuff is all locked. When you do bring things in, you'll want to click over here on the menu and you want to go to text recognition, meaning that's just going to read and make sure it can read all of the text on the screen. So text recognition, and there we go. Now we're ready to go. Let's just make sure it works. Here it goes. At the bottom, it's saying text recognition complete. Then my students can do this activity. I'm going to have them read a book, take a picture, even maybe talk about why that was their favorite book. They can use text, they can use video, they can use all of those tools as long as I leave those on under the control feature. Let's go back because I want to show you this. Once I am in a Google slide, and in Google Drive, Docs, and Sheets as well, you'll see this open with Kami. Now, you can open this with Kami while you're working. So if you're like, I've created what I want in my Google slide, now I'm ready for my students to open it and start working on the assignment. Now, do you see the stuff in the gray space? You will have to recreate that and put it on the Kami. It's not going to take that with you, okay? So just know that. But open with Kami, and it's going to open up into a Kami document as well. So that's why you'll want to have it. And then plus, when you're ready to open a new Kami, look, click on the extension. There it is. I've got my Kami dashboard where I'm going to have access to start a new Kami, bring it in from my Google Drive, and we'll talk about this in just a minute. That's the Kami template library. Okay, so let's get back because I want to get us in. I want you to start working on this document. So let's dive in. It looks like I have about 11 friends in. So that's pretty awesome. So here's your assignments. Okay, what do you remember most about these decades? Okay, now if you're like, I was not in the 70s, what do I remember most? Okay, I'm going to give you some support. Now, I'm going to go into my annotations and I'm going to go into this little file box. I have saved some things from earlier and I put them on there, but it was on the wrong sheet. So here we go. So I'm going to give you some supports. I'm going to go ahead and drag this in and I'll show you how I did this, okay, once we're done. So if you don't remember what the 70s were, click on this button right here and that will help you. Okay, let's make sure you have support for 80s. Here's the 80s. I'm going to drop that in because I do want my students to have an ability to go and research the information. Now, let's see. 90s is on there and we got the 2000s. I'll show you how I did this coming up soon, but I do want you to work. So this is your choice and voice. You have a voice because you get to pick the decade you want to work on. Bell bottoms. Oh my gosh, I remember I was in high school. My mom was like, those were when I was in high school. She's right. So you pick which decade you want to work on. We're going to do this for the duration of the song. Now, I wonder if you could tell me what decade did this song come out? So we're going to work for the duration of this we're going to go ahead and stop because I want to talk about what you did. So I see that you guys use the text box to add all your information in here. Oh, MTV. Remember when that came out? I mean, we used to stay up and watch that. It was so neat when that first came out. Even like the Friday night videos that would come up at late at like about 9 or 8 o'clock, a video channel. Yes, I want my MTV. Gosh, just to go back, right? Now I can go through and I can click on click on the words or the text box, and this is going to let me know who wrote this. So SR, if I go to SR right here, look, that's Cheryl. Oh, Cheryl, bodysuits. You are so right because I used to have some of those. That was not only in the 70s, but that came back like in the 90s, and now it's back again. So everything comes to full circle. My mom when I was in high school, she used to always say, I wore that in high school. And we're like, oh, that's old. But it was true. She was really telling the truth. So I can go through, let's see what else I have. I can even give feedback to my students by using the video or the voice comment. I can even go into this add media and go to these stickers and say, wow, let me give my students excellent work. Go drop them a digital sticker there to show them some instant feedback as they were working through their assignments. So let's see what else. If I can click on my students and notice this. As a collaborator, you as the student cannot go and delete anybody else's work, which is pretty awesome. The only person who can delete is the teacher. So if the teacher goes through and she's like, oh, maybe this is not appropriate, or maybe this doesn't belong, and she tells the student to try again, she can hit this little trash can and it will delete that student's work. Sorry, I delete your work. I'm gonna have to use you as an example. So that's only the teacher can do that. Now, this is another thing. These are all my collaborators here. As the teacher, when you are projecting this to your audience, you can go and do this. I can mute all the students so I can talk about that. But notice it doesn't mute on yours, okay? It only mutes on your screen. So you would have to do that. This is a great accessibility as far as students, especially my autistic students, when it's just so much coming in, they need to say, I can't see everybody else's. I just want to see my work. So the students will be able to go and mute. They can mute all, or they can mute certain students. Or if I see maybe like Amber is, I need to talk with Amber because she has some misconceptions. I'm just going to mute her for now. So you as a teacher, when you're displaying this, you can go and do that. Students have the same access as well. It's not going to mute on everybody. So just know and remember that. Okay. All right. So throughout this presentation, you've got some videos that are going to come in. This is the video here because you can insert videos through YouTube right here when you go to add media. Go to YouTube, and that's how I was able to bring that video in. Let me demonstrate again. So I'm going to go to YouTube. Let me see if I still have that link. And I do. Perfect. Now, you notice here, I can select this video to start. Maybe I need it to start 49 seconds in and end right here. So my students don't have to watch that whole hour video. I just want them to watch a clip. So you can do that by setting that up. Then insert it, drop it to where you want. I'm going to drop it right here. I'm just going to keep it on mute, okay? And you can do that. Now notice what comes up at the top here. This is going to be a game changer because how many of you ever repeat yourself as a teacher? I know you don't. You never repeat yourself, right? Of course you do all the time. So you want to build an annotation library. So if you have a video that you notice like every time, well, if you see the same question, you know you got to reteach it. But let's just say you have some students that keep asking the same question. There's going to be a little box. Once you start putting annotations in, video annotations, voice, text, videos, you're going to see this little box. It says add to annotation bank. I'm going to click on that. It's going to say, do you want to confirm? Yes, I want to. Now to get to that, right here, this Kami button, there's going to be this little toggle window. Okay. When I click on that, there's several options. Look for little file folder, okay? So it's added by video right there. So when I need to give this direction again, I'm just going to pop it up and it's going to come in again, okay? So you can do that. Just save them so you're not using valuable time. So just know that you can do that. Once you start building this, look, you can add folders. So if you have your feedback folder here, icons you use, YouTube, even add like timers. If you know you're always going to put timers when your students are working, drop that timer in the side. So annotations is pretty awesome. You can also go to this little comment right here and you can see all the comments that are happening. Look, you'll see where your students are working and what comments they made and what time. So this little toggle bar right here has some amazing information. Anything that your students have done within the document, you're going to see them on this page. Pretty cool. Okay, let's keep going because now we need to talk about creating assignments in Canvas. Are there any questions before I move on to the second piece? Give it just a minute. Okay. All right. So are you ready? Here we go. We're going to talk about Canvas. Okay. Okay. So here we go. We are in my Summerford Stars. This was my classroom. I called them Summerford Stars. So here we go. So there are a few ways that you can put some assignments, CAM assignments in Canvas. Now, what we did was a collaborative assignment. I'm going to show you how to make a collaborative assignment first. So when your students come in and you have a bell ringer and you're like, get started. Well, eventually when they're trained, they'll know just to get in Canvas and pull it up. So I'm going to do that first. This is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to go to announcements. Here we go. And if you notice, I had a student of the month, but let's add an assignment here, a collaborative assignment. So then I'm going to go to announcements. Now I have to find what I want to do. So let's do, what do I want to do? Do I want to do this one? Let's do this one. So let me just take what I had, that sentence copy of sentence versus non-sentence. So I'll have my students, they can do that when they come in. Make sure I convert it. Here it comes. All right, run text recognition. Yes, I want to make sure that I have that. Okay, now in order to do a collaborative assignment, I will have to copy the Kami link. Let's make sure I just open this. Let's talk about where this is in my Google Drive. Right now, this says it's in Kami Uploads, okay? Now, Kami Uploads. If you leave everything in there, you're going to have a big old folder with Kami Uploads. You do want to go through and you do want to organize this. So if I click this button right here, it's going to say, where do you want it? I'm going to put in teaching examples in activities. So organizing is key because when you are looking for things and you're pulling your assignments, you're going to know where they are. So now look, it tells me it's in language arts and the name of it is copy. Now I can change this and I can say, let's see, I'm just going to put announcement activity for now. Okay, now you can rename it. Also here, when you go to the save button, you can also see that it's in language arts and if I want to move it, I can move it there too. So you have two places to move it. Okay, all right, let's go back to Canvas. Here we go. Let's do, this is going to be sentence versus non-sentence. Okay, and I am going to grab that link. So I'm going to say start here. I'm going to shout it out to my kids. Okay, now I have it here. I do have to highlight it and I'm going to grab that link. Okay, remember at the beginning of our activity today, I showed you how to go and grab that link. We're going to do that. Okay, here's my activity announcement. Going to go to that share button right here. Okay, now I do see how it comes in. If I gave them this link right now, what's going to happen? Hands are going to fly up. I can't get in. Okay, let's avoid that. You're going to go to anyone with the link. You do want them to edit it. They're going to edit it all. But let's go to the control features. Like, do they need to put a YouTube video? Well, maybe if they want to make, maybe if they want to find a video that shows, the teaching of it. But we're not going to do that. We're going to go through, they don't need equations. They're not working on math. Could they draw it? They could. They don't really need shapes. Let's see. Add media. Nope. I want them to just tell me verbally or as a video. They don't need the signature. I definitely don't want them going to Chat GPT and copy and pasting. Spell check, I do. I don't want them to add any pages. Okay, this is what I want them to do. Okay. So see how you can control the features, and you'll want to do that each time on every assignment, okay? If you want to take some features away. Now I'm going to copy this link, go back into Canvas, and I have it highlighted here, and I'm going to go to this link button right here. Okay, external tool because it is. Paste in that link here, and done. And there we go. Let's see, what else do I need? Now you can decide if you want all of this. Enable liking. I'm just going to leave it as it is. I'm going to go to publish. And now let's see if it pops up on my assignment. Okay, go to home. And there it is right here. If you're wondering, how did she get those announcements on there? Let me show you a little Canvas hack. I used to use Canvas. It's been a while. It's been a minute, but I used it with my 3rd grade students. So I remember some things, but don't ask me any heavy questions about Canvas because I don't remember the heavy ones. Okay, let's go to more options here. And if you scroll down, you have to click this little check box that says show recent announcements on your homepage. You can select how many you want to show. So 1, 3, you can select, and then you'll have to update course, and that's how you're going to get those announcements on that home page of your course. So that's one way to do a collaborative assignment. Let's talk about another way because I always got to give you more than one way, okay? So let's go into modules. When I go into modules, I can click this plus button right here. And now what do I want to add? Okay, I want to add an external link because that's what we did. We took it from Kami because we have to do it this way on a collaborative assignment. External link, paste it in. And remember I had start here. Just put that. Okay, now you have the option if you want your students to open it up in a new tab, meaning that it will open up in a new tab outside of Canvas, that's up to you. Okay, now I'm going to add. Now there's my do nows and my start because I put it under my do nows. Now remember, you do have to publish it. If you say I put it in but it's not there, you do have to do that little green check box to make sure your students see that. So that's the second way. These are collaborative assignments. These are not going to make an individual copy for your students. They're going to work on it together. So just know that. If you want to do a individual assignment, so let's say that I wanted to do this as an individual assignment. Well, let's go into assignments. Before I go into assignments, are there any questions or anything that you like to see again when it comes to creating a collaborative assignment? Are we good? Are we good? Okay.
Looks like
All
we're good.
right. Okay. No news is good news. That
No
tells
news
me
is
we're
good
good.
news.
Okay. Let's go into assignments here. So I'm going to click on assignments. Okay. So here we go. We're in Canvas assignments, and I'm going to add the plus sign to add an assignment. Okay. All right. We call this, we're going to use the same thing, sentence versus non-sentence. I want my students to do this on their own. Okay, I've got that in. Now you can go in and you can add the directions, but where else can you add directions? You could do it in the Kami assignment. Okay, so I'm going to say see directions in Kami. Okay, all right, let's go down here. The next thing you want to do is you'll want to go to external tool. You want to make sure that's selected because your district should have already put your Kami in your Canvas. If not, contact your district because they will do all that back behind the scene work. Okay, I'm going to go to find. Now there it is. This is what it's going to look like. I'm going to click on that Kami assignment. And here it is. Now look, do you see all the places you can pull it from? You can pull it from your Google Drive, from your OneDrive, from the Kami library, which we're going to get to, I promise. Or from your computer. I'm going to pull it in from my Google Drive because remember, I went in and put this somewhere so I can find it. Let's see if I can find it. Teaching examples. And then I went to activities. That's why it's so important to really label. Language arts, and here it is. That's why I like it. I could pull any of it. It could be a slide, it could be a doc, but since I have this already, I'm just going to do this one. Okay. Now, here it is. It's going to do its Kami magic and pull it in for me, and it's going to give me some options here. Okay, let's talk about these options and what they mean. If I select assessment mode, now this gives you more control as a teacher, meaning that if you do it in assessment mode, students, you are the only one that's going to access this until you return it, giving you more control over what is out there. Now, we suggest as Kami to only use this when maybe you're doing like benchmark testing or end of 9 weeks or 6 weeks testing. So you don't want to use this all the time. In this place, you can also do a due date. Now, if you give an assignment, it's assessment, say it's a benchmark and it's due like at the end of class period, you could set the date or the tomorrow. And what's going to happen is students who didn't complete the work, it's just going to turn everybody's in all at once. And it's going to give them a timer that they only have a few minutes left to complete. Sometimes that makes kids nervous. But if it's like a test where they have to complete it, my elementary kids would be like, oh my God, that's only like a minute because they're elementary. So I'm not going to do that. The other option you have is enable real-time monitoring. This is really cool because just think about this. You're pulling small groups and you have your independent workers out there, and are they really working independently? Well, as a teacher, if you keep it on enable real-time monitoring when you're working with a small group, you can have your computer open and you can go in and see what the students are doing live, like on that document. You can know if Timmy is not doing it. And you can say, Timmy, what are you doing? I'm working on, no, you're not, because you could see his screen. So that's pretty cool tool. Okay, control features. This is where you can go in and select what you want your students to have access to. So remember earlier I had selected, I changed it. Well, maybe this time I want them to add media. So you could go in, change it, and hit OK. Very important that you hit OK. That is your save button, okay? All right, continue. Let's let it do its magic. All right, so make sure I select it one more time. Now here's the option again, load this tool in a new tab. It's up to you. If you don't, it's gonna be small, but students can always open it up as well, okay? All right, oh, I do have to, I think it's gonna ask me, let me see, it might ask me some Canvas stuff. Maybe it won't. Let's do save. Okay. All right. So let's look at the student view. When the student looks at this Canvas, why is it denied? I don't know. Okay. Maybe I didn't save it all. Let me do it. Leave the student view. Don't know why we're denying me. Okay. Let's go and see my assignments. Oh, you know what? Because I didn't publish it. So that's what's going to happen. And they're going to be like, oh, I can't do it. Can't do it. So make sure you go and hit publish. That's what I should have done. Okay, so you can make this in the assignments. Let's go back now and see. Student view. So now you know what your students are going to see if you don't publish it. Okay, so what your students are going to see is this. They're going to see their Kami assignment and they're going to have the access to the tools that you gave them access to. When they're done, they're going to hit submit. Okay, so let's mark up this. What do I want to do? This is a sentence, Miss Summerford. This is not a sentence. Okay, let's see. Submit and submit. And see what happens. I don't know if it's going to let me submit it because I did it as a student. Might not. Okay. They're going to say the confetti, and that is how they know they submitted the assignment. Okay. Let's go back and let's leave reset. No, not reset. I don't want to mess with that. Probably change everything up. Okay. Let's go into my modules because this is another way as a teacher, I love to use modules because it just helped my students stay organized because they were like in sections. So hey, that works perfectly. You can do whatever you want because you already made your assignments. But because we made that assignment, I can go through and I can add that assignment here. I'm going to go to plus, and there's my assignment, and here it is, sentence versus 9 sentence. You do have to make an announcement, in assignments first before you can do the modules. And now I'm going to add it. Make sure it is published. It's showing green, but it's lighting. Maybe it's just taking a bit. But that is how you can make individual assignments. Now, if I want to look at students' work and see what they did, let's go into this one right here. Okay. All right, let's click into this student, and it's just taking a bit. Me and my husband both work out of the house, so he's probably streaming his talk show radios right now. And they tell him to get off. I do. I'm like, get off at this time. So here we go. So see how it comes in. Now students can always go and let's see, where is it? Oh my goodness. It's like when I need to, okay, see here it is right here. Now, if you give students the assignment like this and you're like, they can't see everything. Well, they can always go to open in a new tab and it will open it. But like here's some students' work. You can go in and give that feedback. So if you notice as they're working that they didn't answer something, or maybe you want to give them some feedback using the stickers while they're working, you can do that. You can go in and add that feedback before they finish or after they finish. So it just really helps students, especially when they're working and they're like, I'm not sure about this. Go give them some live feedback in there. This is how you're going to look at the students' work and see that. Let's go back to that so I can show you that again. Let me go to modules. Let me pull that up. Is this one? Okay. All right. So I went in and I looked at my students' work, but hold on, looking for this other one. I'm going to show you this other thing as well. Let's go into choose 3 ways. Okay. Speed grader. This is where you're going to be able to see the live learning taking place as well. Go into the assignment, click on Speed Grader, and this is where you're going to see whether your student has turned in the work or not. You're going to see their work. You're going to be able to give them feedback, add their grade. You can give them feedback here as well, but why not use the Kami tools? Use the text, use the audio. Go in and say, wow, Melissa, I really like the way you use the number line to show how to solve 3 times 4. So you can give them that instant feedback and help them progress throughout their lesson. So I love using the speed grader option there. All right, does anybody have any questions on Canvas? How to do a collaborative assignment and how to do an individual assignment? Is everybody good? The chat is quiet. Chat is quiet. Okay. All right. Let's go back into our agenda. We looked at creating assignments. You're going to have this. So know that this is going to be available to you. So if you're like, what did that lady say? Well, you've got the resources here. We have some screenshots, how to create that individual assignment, all the steps that you need. Okay. They're going to be in here. I know I showed you, but when it's over and done, you're like, oh, I forgot how to do that. So this talks about the assessment mode, due date, enable that real-time monitoring, collaborative assignments, how that works. These resources are going to be available to you in this presentation. I saw that, Taylor. All right. So let's go through because I have some other things for you before I dismiss class. So let's keep going. We talked about grading, using the speed grader to provide feedback, but I want to show you some more features. I already talked about real-time monitoring. I showed you what that was, and the control features, which is pretty awesome. But let's keep going here because these are some great resources that I want to talk about. So, did you know we had a Facebook group? So, if you're interested in learning more about Kami and connecting with other educators, join our Facebook group. Remember, anywhere you click on this document, that means that there is a link. This will take you to the Facebook link for Kami. Join other educators who are using Kami in their classroom too. And I do have to say, like, the head people are in this. When I first started with Cami and teachers had like a question, I saw like Kenji. He is like head of our company. He was in there like answering. He really loves the product he created, which is pretty awesome because it is a great product. He is in there helping teachers all the time. If you're interested in becoming a CAMI certified educator, click on this link. We have level 1 and level 2 courses. Get professional development. I mean, I don't know if you're most districts do take it when you give them the printed copy, but get with your district to make sure that they will take that professional development. It's an online self-paced course. Start Academy Academy. We have links to YouTube videos, book a training. All of our trainings are absolutely free. You can have a one-on-one. You can do it with several people. We can have 100 people. All of our trainings are free. Click on this link, book a training, or go to this hamburger right here. Is it the hamburger? Let's see. No. It's the question mark. It's the question mark right here where it says book training. It's going to take you to a calendar event where you can get a teacher success champion to come in. We're all former educators ourselves. If you ever have a problem, you can email support. You can even send them a help recording, meaning you can record what it's doing, send it to them. They're always in there just waiting to help the teacher. So they are. I mean, it's true. Here's some other resources too. So this is filled with lots of resources for you to go check out. So thank you so much for attending today. And I want to tell you, if you are not with San Antonio and you would like to try Cami out, you can click on this and it's going to give you a 60-day coupon from the day you started. So if you're like, oh, I don't want to start it till September. So 60 days from the day you start in September, then you can use it and try it out with your students. Or if you want to start it now, you can do that as well. Here is my email address if you're on the Twitters. This is my Twitter handle. I love to connect with you. I mean, I started this because my principal did, and then I ended up loving it. So get on Twitter if you haven't. It's amazing.